by Lucas Paredes in Ilocano. We now have another phone call from General Ramos. Incidentally, our telephone here in RP has been cut off. We are requesting, there was a lady who called us up at 6:26. Could you check your telephone? Baka you did not put the handle on correctly. Wala na po kami sa telepono ko. Kaya yung aling ko sumawag sa amin kaninang 6:26. Paki-check nyo lang po yung telepono ninyo at i-install nyo sa tamang posisyon. Oh, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, forward.
Thank you.
An appeal to the remaining Major Service Commander.
Yes, sir.
General Ramos,
Yes, sir.
Jarpiccio, Admiral Ochoco.
Oh, General Piccio. Sir, could you tell him to turn down your radio? Okay, General Ramos.
Of the Army, Jarpiccio of the Air Force,
Piccio of the Air Force.
Admiral Ochoco of the Navy,
Admiral Ochoco.
of the Navy,
Okay.
plus the following key officers,
Okay.
General Browner,
General Browner.
the J3 and the Commanding General of the Scout Ranger Regiment,
Okay, Chief. All right.
Commodore Lasso of the Philippine Coast Guard,
Commodore Lasso of the Coast Guard.
General Artemio Tadjar of the Philippine Marines,
Artemio Tadjar. All right, sir.
okay, Commodore Ernesto Absaga of the Armed Forces Log Command,
Saga of the Log Command.
General Singson,
General Kingston.
the G2 and Chief of the Intelligence Service of the AFP,
Okay.
General Wilfredo Estrada of the NISA,
Yes, sir.
plus all the chiefs of the AFP Joint Staff to report to Camp Krame
Yes, sir.
for instruction if they wish to join us.
Yes, sir.
If not, we are prepared to deal with them accordingly.
All right, sir. Mr.
But I would like them to know
Yes.
that the defectors continue
Yes.
to flood around here in Camp Krame, consisting exactly and precisely of those units that I have just mentioned.
Yes, sir.
Army, Air Force, Navy, Intelligence, Logistics, and members of the Joint Staff
Yes, sir.
across the road.
Yes, sir.
So all we want is their cooperation because we need them
All right.
to give instructions to their troops and to their officers so that there can be a peaceful transition between the old and the new.
Yes.
That's all, Joe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, General Ramos.
Okay.
All right. We will announce that. Thank you. Colonel Philip Carrion, who wanted to land his 3 to 400 paratroopers in Malacanang. So maybe you could call us back. Naghihintay lumutro po siya ng advice ninyo, ng command po ninyo. All right. So if these generals are listening, if they are no longer listening to the government stations, and all these other stations that have been playing government broadcasts, we hope you are listening to us. We have a message for you from General Ramos, the new Chief of Staff. They are asking you to report to Camp Krame for your instructions unless you wish to be dealt with accordingly. And this is addressed to General Ramos, General Piccio, Admiral Ochoco, General Browner, Commodore Lasso of the Coast Guard, Artemio Tadjar of the Philippine Marines, Commodore Saga of the 6th Command, General Singson of J2, General Estrada, and all the Joint Chiefs of Staff that are still left there. Again, Please report to Camp Crame for further instructions unless you wish to be dealt with accordingly. They are asking you to please come out now and cooperate. Okay, we have Harry Gasser on the line. Let me see. Hello? Yes, wait, hold on, Harry, hold on a minute, okay? Harry.
Yeah, well, in the wake of all these reports about President Marcos having lifted off from Malacanang, we received 4 calls already,
Yes.
more or less confirming, but of course we're trying to verify these reports that President Marcos and Mrs. Marcos have left Malacanang. Well, we'd like to pass you on to our newsroom, June, if you don't mind, so that we can get some of the latest reactions coming from Washington, from the White House itself, from President Reagan.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, here's our newsman.
All right.
Hello, good morning, June.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, this is Henry.
Oh, hi, Henry, good morning.
Yes, this comes from Associated Press.
Yes.
Washington. President Ronald Reagan warned Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos against using military action to crush rebel forces, saying such a move would cause untold damage to the U.S.-Philippine relationship. A White House spokesman made an announcement Sunday at the White House after Reagan met with his senior foreign policy advisors and U.S. Ambassador Philip Habib, who just returned from meetings in the Philippines with Marcos and opposition leader Corazon Aquino. The president appealed earlier today to President Marcos to avoid an attack against other elements of the Philippine armed forces. Regrettably, there are now reports of an attack, spokesman Larry Speaks said. An attempt to resolve this situation by force will surely result in bloodshed and casualties, further polarize Philippine society, and cause untold damage to the relationship between our governments, Speaks added. Noting that the U.S. provides aid to the Philippine Armed Forces, Speaks said the President warned that America cannot continue existing military assistance if the government uses that aid against other elements of the Philippine military that enjoy popular backing. Speaks said Reagan urged a peaceful settlement of the Philippine crisis. The statement was led to the press as reports came from the Philippines of government forces moving against civilians supporting the 2 military officers who have called upon Marcos to resign.
Okay.
And,
Anything else?
I think that's all.
Okay, thank you very much, Henry.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll be expecting other reports from you. Just keep us posted, okay? We have a lot of telephone calls. We're receiving a lot of phone calls, and this is the gist of almost all the calls that we've been receiving. Why is Channel 4 showing a tape of Mr. Marcos? This is a videotape. Surely they realize the gravity of the situation. The people of the Philippines demand to see if Mr. Marcos is still here. Channel 4, please, for once, will you do your duty to the people? Some people have added a postscript. Better late than never. So Channel 4, if you're listening, please, alam ng mga tao po na videotape po yun na pinapakita ninyo. Siguro nadinig niyo na po yung mga boses po ng ating mga tauhan, lahat ng mga tao na tumatawag dito, all our people who are behind this and all willing that this change should happen. So please, Channel 4, realize the gravity of the situation. We have had so many reports about Mr. Marcos taking off. Kaya ito pa, may nagsabi pa, kung si Mr. Nathaniel, nandiyan pa po kayo, siguro maybe you better start making up for all this lost time. From Radio Veritas, we have a report that Butch Aquino is mediating with the people and the soldiers and trying to get them to make peace. I hope that this will be speedily done. I know that all of our people are out there, please, because we have been receiving some joyful news over our airwaves. That doesn't mean that we ought to stop praying. Please, let us just keep up the prayers. As you can see, the Lord is working so many marvelous miracles. Surely, Therefore, those of you perhaps who maybe have been a little skeptical, or perhaps those of you who've been lax, you realize truly that that place can move mountains. And that's what we're doing right now. We're moving a 20-year-old mountain. All right, all UP law students, please assemble at the UP Law Building at 9 o'clock this morning. And there's an announcement from St. Luke's. An ambulance is coming to help out our fellow citizens. And from Attorney Ramon Jimenez, the president of CFM, he's calling all the members of CFM to please proceed to Crame. Remember po, General Ramos, hindi pa kayo nag-usap po ni Colonel Carion, yung mga kanyang mga kaibigan na mga Muslim na 300 paratroopers, they're all ready to jump when you say jump. After all, you are now their chief of staff. So perhaps you may want to give your command. Okay, so we have some time. Okay, we have a song. Maganda po yung title. OPM po ito. Ang title po ng kanta ni Pat Castillo is He's Not Here.
Accused Mr. Marcos of fraud in the February 7th election. The Philippines, partners in the 6-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations, have called on that country's leaders to resolve the current crisis peacefully. A statement issued by the 5 other ASEAN members, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand, said they had followed with increasing concern the developments following the presidential election in the Philippines. The statement, which came at the time of the stalemate between rebels and President Ferdinand Marcos in Manila, said that the critical situation has emerged which portends bloodshed and civil war. It adds there is still time to act with restraint and bring about a peaceful solution of the crisis. That's the end of the news, read by Hirokazu Sakamaki. You're now tuned to Radio Japan, the overseas service of NHK in Tokyo.
In such an assault, but would push them aside. We have, of course, heard recent reports that his forces are using tear gas. Former Defense Minister Juan Ponce Enrile and Deputy Armed Forces Chief General Fidel Ramos were interviewed on 2 American TV programs, but only their voices were heard. The media have been unable to work with cameras inside the compound where the rebel forces are located. President Marcos was shown live from the presidential palace. Since the audience was American, one of the most obvious questions posed to General Enrile concerned the possibility of a U.S. role in behalf of rebel forces. He was asked what he would want the United States to do.
We would hope that the United States could exert pressure on Mr. Marcos to study the condition of the country, the attitude of the people, and the reality of the fact that the election result was not in his favor, so that we can settle this as quick as possible without any bloodshed. But if he's going to remain in position and he will not at all listen to the voice of the people, then it might be most unfortunate.
Mr. Enrile's hope for a peaceful solution to the crisis was echoed by General Ramos, who had admitted that their people do not have the military force to repel an assault by President Marcos's troops. Yet he expressed a great deal of confidence in what he called people power.
We are very much in favor of achieving a non-violent solution to this present crisis. That in fact has been our approach all along. We do not have the military hardware to resist the attacks that we feel are forthcoming or are being contemplated by Mr. Marcos. However, we are utilizing people's power, and so far, the use of the people confronting tanks and armored columns has proven to be very successful out here. I think that the power which is in the hands of the people to compel a decision favorable to us, Mr. Marcos, is there. We shall overcome him by the sheer numbers of the people that are against this regime.
In view of General Ramos' statement concerning the inability of rebel forces to withstand a full-scale military assault by the Marcos forces, General Enrile was asked how they could expect to win. His response included the people power theme as a part of the answer.
I believe that we have enough military capability from the support of the people to accomplish what we are about to do.
On the same television program with former Defense Minister Enrile and General Ramos, President Marcos was openly scornful of the idea of people power that the two men emphasized. He laughed aloud when asked about the statement.
They are now limited to a small corner of one constabulary camp, and they talk about toppling the president. Well, as you know, they don't have vast military power with them. All they have is about 400 men. And the moment we hit them, they'll be wiped out. Secondly, with respect to people's power, on my inauguration and oath-taking, we will hold rallies in every capital of every province, 73. And possibly about 60 cities. And this shows to you that there is no comparison about our power base among the people and their power base. There's no comparison about their military power and our military power.
President Marcos refused to speculate on what he might do if the United States formally asked him to step down, an action that is being pushed by many members of the U.S. Congress. But he gave a blunt warning that he would annihilate any domestic group that might try to take over in the Philippines.
There is going to be no civil war. There is no force, not even the Communist Party, NPA, and the National Democratic Front can mount a civil war in our country. I will vote them out if they try.
Philippines President Marcos and earlier rebel leaders Enrile and Ramos, and some excerpts from their War of Words fought yesterday on America's commercial television channels. There were anti-NATO demonstrations in Madrid yesterday, where a recent opinion poll shows a 34% to 25% opposition to Spain's continued membership in the North Atlantic Treaty.